Okay. How you darn?
Yeah.
How you darn? What's Gucci, people? It's a Monday night for you guys. It's a Monday night. It's a Tuesday morning for us. So I hope you're having a good Monday night, and I hope all your wildest dreams came true today. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. Really appreciate y'all for joining us today on the stream. Badake and I just recorded some content that we are very, very excited. I actually really, not that I don't always enjoy the content that we put out, but I actually had a lot of fun recording today's content.
Yeah, it was a little bit different. I feel like it was.
Yeah. Someone made a suggestion on one of our videos. Hey, what would happen if you put the 2022 and 2023 rookie classes together and tier rank them? So that was very difficult, but it was fun. We made that video. We have a Dynasty do's and don'ts video coming out soon where we give you 8 pointers from our time in Dynasty football. And then we have a time to prepare for free agency, which is going to be very, very interesting. Time to prepare for free agency, which you guys will see here again this week. The moves that we make, that we're going to make as we prepare for the free agent market to hit. Do us a massive favor. If you're with us, if you're vibing, if you're having a good time, the easiest way to support the show, help the old algorithm to get more people to notice us, is to drop a like.
You like that?
If you like the content, if you like what we're putting out, the easiest way to support the show. So do us a favor, drop a like, and that's going to help us grow the channel as we go.
Huge love, y'all.
What's up, T-Waz? Obi says, what camera, editing program, and stream system do you guys use? Everything looks super clean. Appreciate y'all and love the show. Hey, man, thanks for those kind words. I have a Sony A7 III. I used to be a video editor, and I kind of have had that camera for a while. But I know you have a Canon.
Yeah, I have a Canon M50 Mark II, if I'm not mistaken. I had a camera, I had a 60 back in the day, but then I sold it. But I just got the cheapest, highest quality vlogger camera out there, but it's an actual interchangeable lens, so it's a DSLR. So
I just had the benefit of already having that camera that I had, so I wouldn't have spent that much if I was just doing vlogging. So his camera is actually pretty good value. Editing program, we do Premiere Pro,
Adobe Suites, essentially.
Adobe Edition, Illustrator, Premiere, Photoshop. And then we use Streamlabs, OBS Streamlabs to stream. So yeah, it's all a good time. I don't think running backs are going high enough in mock yet. Combine NFL draft capital is going to push 4 or 5 into the first round. Yeah, it definitely could. What's 100%. Up, Fantasy Condo? What's up, Double L? We'll talk about that, the landing spots that we're using today. What's up, Baker says new week to be great. That's right.
That's right, baby.
What's up, Spence? What's up, Legendary? Yes, I did get a haircut. Thanks for noticing. Did you
go Slim Fady?
Nah, I just go to my guy Mick. Just my guy Mick.
I go to my guy Mick.
Yeah, it's been my guy for like 5 years now.
My barber, his name's Slim Fady, and
that just doesn't sound like someone you can trust.
It is somebody I trust. Someone that, when I get my hair cut, it's nice and clean.
Did he name himself Slim Fady, or did someone name him that?
His Instagram handle is Slim Fady.
See, if that's a name given out of respect, okay, but self-made Slim Shady?
Actually, funny enough, his name's Zach.
Don't trust him.
So it's good. He's a good guy. He's trying to support his family. May not be the best things in making the right decisions, but he gives a good fade, tell you that much.
Okay, that got serious. Okay, guys, we are doing a 2023 Dynasty rookie draft. Keep in mind, we're going to try our best to keep up with the chat, but we'll obviously focus on the draft as we go. So if something is super important, you want our response from it straight away, drop a super chat. We'll get to it straight away for you. But we're going to have a good time. Shout out to Mark Depp. Thank you so much for the sub, man. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you,
actually, man. Guys, we are right now, we're just 106 subs away from 5K, which is awesome. Wow. Which is really, really awesome.
That's crazy, man. A couple weeks ago, I feel like we gained nearly 1,000 subscribers in like 2 weeks, which is
Yeah, it's been really cool.
It's been awesome.
Okay, so if people want to join today's mock draft, how can they do that, Badake?
Yeah, guys, as always, the link is in the description below. Join our Discord. It says join our Discord here. Go there, and then all you have to do is go to Dynasty Damn It, Dynasty Mock Draft tab, and that's exactly where I'll be posting that link. You kind of see that I posted that link to this live stream in that tab, Dynasty Mock Draft tab. So join our Discord. As always, we like to say it is first come, first serve. So if you don't get in today, it's okay. We do multiple mock drafts all throughout the week, Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you can't get in today, it's okay. We are going to be doing mock drafts all leading up into the season. Yeah. So don't stress. Sit back, relax. We'll try to answer as many questions as you possibly can, but join our Discord. Once again, Discord.
Yeah, so we're going to send that link out here in 1 second. Hey, shout out to the 72 people watching the stream. Do us a massive favor. Can you drop a like for us? I mean, with your help, there's no reason as to why we can't get to 70 likes. Just such a simple way for you to help grow the channel, help us to reach more people. Really appreciate the love, appreciate the support. All right, Badake, let's go ahead and send out that link so people can join us, and we'll get this thing popping. And I'll say this. If we hit 100 likes, we'll do 2. That's all I'm asking. Just 100 likes. If we hit 100 likes, we'll do 2 mock drafts for you guys today. So if you want us to get to that second mock draft, 100 likes is the goal. So you can help us get there if you want to see 2 rounds of mock drafts.
All right, sending this link out in 3, 2. There it is. It is out and about in the Discord world. We get people here joining as always. We appreciate you guys.
So as those people are joining, I already sent the new landing spots in the chat, but in case you guys don't have them, I'll send them again. Let's just quickly go through those so we all know the landing spots that we're using for today's rookie mock draft. Okay, so Bryce Young goes to the Texans. CJ Stroud to the Colts. We've seen that before, but this is the first big change in this week's mock draft. Bijan Robinson goes to the Lions with the 6th overall pick.
What do you do with DeAndre Swift?
Moly. I mean, DeAndre Swift keeps his same role, and Bijan becomes your Jamal Williams, just like an incredible version of that. So that's interesting. The Raiders go Anthony Richardson. Will Levis goes to the Panthers. Then we have Quentin Johnson to the Jets. Then we go to the next page. We have Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Ravens. Zay Flowers makes his way into the first round. He goes to the Jaguars. Do I think the Jaguars need to add a receiver like Zay Flowers? No. I would love Zay Flowers to go in the first, but this is strange considering the weapons they have now with Ridley and Christian Kirk. I'm not sure why that makes sense, but I love Zay Flowers' as a talent. Then Jordan Addison goes off the board to your Giants. Then we see Michael Mayer to the Bengals. Jahmyr Gibbs to the Chiefs. And that ends the first round. We'll head into the second round here. We see Jalen Hyatt to the Houston Texans. Beginning of the second round. Then we have Zach Charbonnet to the Raiders, which is awesome. We've seen that before. Yeah. Saints get Tanner McKee. The Titans get Darnell Washington. Yeah. Then we see Cedric Tillman to the Patriots. Hendon Hooker to the Commanders. Yeah. Luke Musgrave to the Bucks.
Oh, okay.
I like Luke. Yeah, we like Luke a little bit here. And we see Dalton Kincaid to your Giants.
Come on, baby! In the second round, the 2 tight ends is becoming more and more reality. Okay.
Jonathan Mingo goes to the Bears early for us, but he goes to the Bears. And we see Cardinals take Kayshon Boutte. Zach Evans goes to the Rams in the third round. Dontavion Wicks to the Raiders in the third round. Kenny McIntosh to the Saints in the third round. A lot of people going offense here in this third round. Tucker Kraft goes to the Dolphins. Josh Downs to the Packers. Devin A-Chain to the Colts. Malik Cunningham, for some reason, gets drafted this early. I don't know why. Seahawks go Charlie Jones. Sam Laporta. You like Sam Laporta. He goes to the Jags. Jaron Hall to the Vikings. Deuce Vaughn to the Cowboys. Deuce. Xavier Hutchinson to the Bills. We like that third round draft capital. And everyone else is up to your imagination as far as like where they went in today's mock draft. So let's go ahead and get this started. It is a 2023 rookie mock draft, super flex. It is not tight end premium. It is PPR. What we'll do is at the end of each round, we'll talk about the round as a whole and we'll just let the picks flow as they come. So here we go.
Yeah.
Dr. Degenerate is at the 101 here, and I'm sure he's going to go Bijan. I mean, how do we feel about Bijan Robinson going to the Detroit Lions with the 6th overall pick?
I would say that Swifty will be moved there, personally.
You think he'd be traded?
I think he either gets traded or he just becomes a backup and maybe somebody gets him on the list. I don't think there's going to be some sort of split role or like a 70-30 and 80-20 for Swift. I think
I could see him playing like a third down role for them.
Bijan or Swift?
Swift. I could see him playing. I think like
I could definitely
if you think about it, Swift is not an expensive contract for them. So I'm not sure that they move on from him. But if they can get good value, maybe they do.
I mean, you can definitely get a second round.
I don't think so.
Or Swifty potentially.
I don't think you could. Right. And it's not worth sending him away for a third. He was drafted in the second round. I mean, what has he done to? In fantasy, we love him. You know, we love what he could be. But in the NFL landscape, I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure it makes sense for the Lions to move. Just make a strength even stronger. Is the way I'm looking at it, but it's interesting. I think Bijan definitely destroys Swift value there, but who knows if I just don't think they move Swift. So
yeah, it's
that would be tough. That would be tough. CJ Stroud goes at the 102, and he goes to the Colts in this mock draft. Who did the Texans grab with their second pick? The Texans went defensive end. Which you don't love. You want to see them go wide receiver. And unfortunately, in the second round, they went with one of my least favorite wide receivers in the draft, Jalen Hyatt. So that really sucks for Bryce. I don't love that, but I'm still going to stick and pick here. I'm going to go best player available in my eyes and my rankings, which would be Bryce Young. I'll take him here at the 103 in a super flex format.
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense there, Bryce. I'll be really surprised if the excuse me, if the Viking or Texans don't go Bijan and at least
Bijan, you mean Bryce?
Bryce, sorry. I'll be really surprised if the Texans don't take Bryce and a weapon for him in either at the 12 or in at least the second round.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
well, they did go Jalen Hyatt in the second round, first pick, second pick.
Well, I'm just saying in the actual NFL draft, if that actually happens, it's okay. It may not be the guy that we're excited about, but at least they're investing in the weapons so that he can grow with.
Sure.
If they don't draft somebody as a weapon, I'll feel really disappointed. But it's okay. I mean, I've seen worse.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson goes at the 1-4. We got a
it's not tight end premium, bro.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So Michael Mayer goes at the 1-5. This is not tight end premium. Even if it was, I don't think I'm taking Mayer that early.
In a tight end premium, are you taking him this early?
Tight end premium? No, I'm not taking him.
I think I'm waiting still. I think he's like 108 tight end premium.
Yeah, a little bit early, but fair enough. Where did he end up going in this draft? He went to the Bengals.
Yeah.
So it's a very good landing spot. A very, very good landing spot. Yeah, too early for me. I can't leave guys like JSN and Jahmyr Gibbs and Quentin on the board. But to each their own. There goes Michael Mayer at the 1-5. Jahmyr Gibbs goes at the 1-6. He goes to the Chiefs. And now you're on the clock. Talk us through what you're thinking.
You know what? I'm going to take him because I actually never drafted him before.
Okay.
And I usually will go Quentin here. But I'll take JSN just to see how it feels.
Okay. How does it feel?
Quentin is my wide receiver 1. But because he's my wide receiver 1, I never take JSN. So maybe somebody does reach if they have somebody, or I don't know. I just want to switch it up.
Okay.
Feels just as good as taking Quentin.
Fair enough.
But Jason goes to the Bengals here. I mean, to the Ravens, which I like a little bit better than the Quentin that went to the Jets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So maybe if a scenario does happen, maybe I need to reevaluate my post draft rankings, and maybe Jason does move higher in my post draft rankings. But yeah, just wanted to switch it up.
Sure. Okay, guys. Interesting picks here to start. This is not how I imagined it going, but that's why we love to do mock drafts.
This is why we want.
This is why we do mock drafts, because anything can happen. You can try things. You can switch it up. You can see how it feels.
Yeah, I mean, Jack's even saying, you know, with T's future up in the air, long-term tight ends could be valued even more in non-tight end premium. Going to be a lot of moving pieces once the Burrow Chase contract hits, for sure. I would completely agree. I don't know if I would take him still at the 1.5 there, Jack, but I can definitely see the thought process to where, like, yeah, I mean, we talked about it, we hinted about it a little bit in.
I'm trying to see the comment you're talking about.
It's in the sleeper chat. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
We did hint about that a little bit in this free agent video that we did, like free agent market, where we kind of talked about every single position and saying maybe these tight ends might go earlier and have a bigger role because the wide receiver market is so bad. Still doesn't justify us taking him at the 1.5.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely worth a first round pick, just not so high.
I think he's on the edge. Like in a non-tight end premium, he's on the edge of like 112 to like 203, 204. But in a tight end premium format, I'm probably looking at him at like the 108 to the 110. Obviously, it depends on, you know, how the draft goes, but I don't know, man. That's really high for me. And as much as I like Michael Mayer and I think he's going to be an impact tight end from day one, tight ends still need time to develop going into the NFL. And I just feel like I find it difficult to see Michael Mayer returning 105 type value this time next year. So, you know, you want to draft players at value, not their ceiling. And that's what makes that difficult.
No, for sure.
I would say that was definitely the surprise of the first round, of Michael Mayer going there, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then somehow Quentin Johnson falls to the 109. I mean, we made a video recently, Badake, where we talked about Jordan Addison potentially being available at the 109. And someone commented there, like, there's no way Jordan Addison's going to be there at the 109. You know, people get so passionate. It's like, well, he's here at the 110. Like, it is possible. Anything can happen. Like, your drafts are not going to go exactly the way that you think they're going to go. You don't see players the way others people see players, and that's okay. That's what makes the game fun. Mm-hmm. But Jordan Addison falls to the 110, then Boutte, then Will Levis at the 112.
I think it's great.
I think I'm probably taking Levis over Boutte if Levis goes top 10.
Yeah, and he went to the Panthers here, if I'm not mistaken. Which,
he did.
Once again, I personally really like. I like Anthony Richardson potentially going to the Raiders and maybe here. I think like they're in a weird scenario. I think I would say the same thing Will, but I think the overall better landing spot, in my opinion, would be the Panthers because they are in a rebuild phase where the Raiders aren't. So if someone does get drafted to the Raiders and they get rid of Derek Carr and they bring in Aaron Rodgers hypothetically, just know that they're going to sit, obviously, right? Like the Raiders are in I would say a weird, like you either build to win now or you just build to rebuild, right? And I think they're trying to figure that out.
That would put themselves them in an interesting position,
especially just trading for Devontae Adams, right?
Yeah, so that would put them in an interesting spot. Maybe they rock with a Rich day one and they don't make the mistake that the Niners did. Just, hey, we're in win now and let's wait to let this rookie with high upside develop. I just feel like if you take one of these players, get them developing from day one. But obviously, you know, there's different scenarios where other teams have sat talented players and they've succeeded. But I just think at some point, if you don't let your rookie develop and make mistakes, you're pushing back their opportunity to help you even further. But yeah, definitely an interesting first round. This was one of the more interesting first rounds that we've seen thus far this offseason, but it was a really fun one. Boutte goes to the Cardinals in the third round. If he's third round, I like the landing spot, like the player. Maybe we just bet on the player, but that's tough draft capital, third round. I think he's definitely going to get second IRL.
Yeah, it is tough draft capital, but also kind of like a chalk this year as well, potentially not having Kyler Murray the first half of the season, which is a little bit frustrating I guess it's just frustrating in the fantasy perspective, which I think he will fall if he goes to the Cardinals in the second round.
I'm still not against betting on the player, betting on the talent, no doubt. Yeah. I just think there's players who had much better draft capital that we might have to look at if this was realistic. But of course, it's just for fun at this point.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you want to see 2 mock drafts tonight, if you want us to do another round, we're trying to get to 100 likes. So if we get 100 likes, we'll pop off another mock draft for you guys right as this one finishes. We'll get a whole new crew of people. So do us a massive favor. Drop a like on the stream. Easiest way for you to support the channel to help us grow. If you like it, if you like the content, if you like what we're doing, easiest way to support the channel. So let's get to that 100 like mark, and we will absolutely pop off another mock draft for you guys right after this to see how ADP changes. But let's go ahead and start the second round here, and let's see what happens. Let's see what's popping.
Poppin'.
Roxanne. You don't have to stay.
Literally 2 different songs.
It made me think of that episode of Community. There goes Zay Flowers at the 2-1. Zay Flowers went to the Jags. I love the player. I love the draft capital. Don't understand the landing spot. I don't know why they would do this, but I mean, here we are. And I mean, if it's the same thing I said about Jahan Dotson last year. If a wide receiver goes in the first round, it is difficult not to put them in the first round of a rookie mock draft. So yeah, put some respect on the guy Zay. I know some people don't see him going in the first round. We have said it's a possibility before. Let's see what actually happens. What's up, Proofy?
How you doing, brother?
Thanks for joining, man. What's up, Kyle? We'll try and keep up with the chat as much as we can, guys.
Just going to the draft to see who's next.
Zay Flowers goes off the board, and now I need to actually have a look at my rookie rankings and see what I'm probably going to do next. See, I feel like this is probably where you start to go Michael Mayer in a non-tight end premium.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, yeah, I would. You know, I guess, yes. 201, 202, that feels comfortable. I was going to just have a whole arc like Keishon, Boutte and like his draft capital, but yeah, I think 201, 202 is good. Josh Downs. I was
downtown. Josh Downs off the board.
I got excited. I was like, oh, maybe he'll fall because he didn't get the draft capital. But if I'm not mistaken, he goes in the third round to the Packers, which I really like.
You are not mistaken. By the way, someone commented on one of our mock drafts recently, and they were like, "This is the I'm not mistaken mock draft." So I'm trying not to say it.
Okay, I won't say it from this moment on.
No, you can say it if you want to. But you are not mistaken. He does go to the Packers in the 3rd round. You know, not too far off where Amari Rodgers went draft capital wise to the Packers. So that is a little bit concerning.
That is concerning.
Okay, Josh Downs goes off the board. To me, I feel like it's quite clear who the next player, the next best player available. I don't think we saw Sean Tucker in this mock draft. I was going to say it. I don't think we saw Sean Tucker in this mock draft, but we did see one Zachary Evans who lands with the Los Angeles Rams. And I have said this before, do not be surprised if the Rams draft a running back. Cam Akers is on his contract year. He has the torn Achilles. I'm personally someone who's been off Akers for a long time, but I struggle to see a scenario in which they want to invest money into a running back who has a torn Achilles. I just don't know if that's something that they would want to do as a franchise.
For sure.
So Zach Evans, to me, might take a year for him to get the full workload, or maybe he beats out Cam Akers. Who knows? But I think he has a role immediately from day one. I like the talent. I know this is a polarizing player, but I like the talent. I'll bet on the talent here, and I'll go ahead and grab me some Zach Evans at the 203, and feels like an absolute steal there, in my opinion, with how much I love him. Xavier Hutchinson goes next. We love Xavier Hutchinson. I think we're the only reason his ADP is rising in the Dynasty community.
Yeah, where is
no one's talking about him still. He went to the Bills in the 3rd round. Which, you know, we said we want at minimum 3rd round capital for him. He goes to the Bills. We're not going to rise him up our boards because of the spot, but we like the player, and the landing spot isn't bad by any means. I think he's a much better complete wide receiver than Gabe Davis. So we'll just keep being the only ones who advocate for Xavier Hutchinson in the community. We'll just keep being those guys.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where his where he's at right now in mock draft. He's still projected a 3rd round draft guy. Hasn't risen as of yet. I mean, he's risen a couple spots. He was ranked 94th and now he's ranked 87th. So he's going up little by little.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bills seems fun. One good wide receiver too over there.
Yeah. So Jalen Hyatt goes off the board.
He went to the Texans.
You guys know what we think about Jalen Hyatt, so there's no reason for us to put him down. Rashee Rice goes off the board.
Yeah, Rashee Rice. All right, I'll take my guy here. Even though he didn't get drafted, I think he does still get decent draft capital, whether it's in the second or the third round. And that's Sean Tucker.
Okay.
5'10", 210 or 5'10", 205. We gotta wait into the stuff, but I love the vision,
Combine,
love the speed, love the versatility. So, if he falls in, gets the draft capital, I'll be really excited.
I even like the fact that you. I mean, I don't care if he didn't get drafted. I'm someone who likes Tucker. Maybe not as much as you, but at the 2.7, that feels like really good value.
I like Tucker. Yeah, not as much as me, but yeah, the 2.7 is great.
I'm just saying you have Tucker higher in your rankings, but I still like the value.
At first, I thought you was like, oh, I thought you said, for some reason, I heard I like Sean Tucker higher than you. I was like, oh well, I don't think that's true.
No, I do not like Sean Tucker more than you. That's well established.
No, yeah, for sure.
Chris says you guys are definitely the loudest about it, but I've heard people loving Hutchinson. That's good.
Nice.
Jaws says at least plenty of time to shake off any embarrassment. He says Diggs dropped 6 straight balls in the Pro Bowl best catch. That best catch was so lame. How do you guys feel about the Pro Bowl? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? The best catch section was so lame.
Yeah. I just think they need to get a little bit more creative. They need. I don't know, man. I'm just thinking like maybe back in the. I don't know what they need to do, but I thought the flag football was cool and fun, and it was different, and there was some good opportunity. But I think there's things that like I actually didn't care about. Like I didn't care about the water balloon thing. I didn't care about the best catch. I didn't care about like them pulling that rig.
Yeah.
I didn't care about that. I thought like the race with like where Myles Garrett like dislocated his toe or whatever. I thought that was fun where they went through the obstacles. That was kind of like that was interesting, because you see someone like Brian Burns who is athletic, but you look at Myles Garrett who's like a freak and he just gets burnt by Brian Burns. I just thought that Myles Garrett would have just been significantly better just based off body and athleticism.
The stuff outside of flag football. Let me be honest. Did I watch the flag football this year? Did I watch the Pro Bowl? No. No. I put it on for a couple minutes and I was like, I don't want to watch this. But I watched those other like little challenges that they were doing. Do you know what it reminded me of? And maybe you guys can relate if you did this in your high school. Do you guys ever have field days? Did anyone else out there ever have field days? Maybe high school. You definitely don't do them in high school. Sorry, more like elementary school. When you're in like elementary school, you have these field days. You go out in the field and you do all these challenges and you have fun. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of a field day. I don't know. I just think the Pro Bowl is kind of chalked. It's just not very fun. Okay, so second round. What stands out to us here in the second round? Sean Tucker to the 207 is definitely interesting, seeing him fall that late.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a good value there. I like Dalton Kincaid, gets second round draft capital
Yes, I was going to highlight him too. You are correct.
I am
don't
correct.
Say it. Dalton Kincaid goes to the Giants in the second round. And this is why I was going to say, again, Mayer at the 1.5. I don't want to harp on it, but it just feels way too early in the non-tight end premium. Dalton Kincaid, let's say this. I love Michael Mayer. He's clearly the tight end one in this class.
100%.
But as far as being a fantasy asset, Dalton Kincaid is a better route runner. He's got more suddenness. He's got more make you miss ability. And I would say they have equally as good of hands. Just Kincaid is nowhere near the blocker or the complete tight end that Michael Mayer is. So Kincaid is someone I'm going to be targeting at the end of second rounds if I need tight ends. And I really like Kincaid's game. Really interesting prospect. He didn't actually start playing football until when did he start playing? It was like last year of
It was like
high
last
school.
year before, something like that. Yeah, so
Yeah,
he wasn't
crazy.
He was nothing until a couple of years ago. I would feel like I want to say until literally last year. It feels like.
I feel like
When
this
he
tight
really
end class
came up.
is pretty deep. I think it's a good
It
tight
is a
end
good
class.
tight end class, 100%.
And I think you can find pretty good values in the late second, mid third of this year's rookie drafts. So it's not that I'm going to pass on Mayer where I said late first, early second. I just think it makes me think maybe I will take a shot on one of these other guys. I mean, keep in mind, guys, Greg Dulcich was a 4th round pick last year, right? I'm trying to think of other names. I mean, Chig was probably undrafted. Daniel Bellinger was likely undrafted. So
exactly. And these are guys that are extremely more talented. It should have significantly higher draft capital.
So I think it's a good class. I think you can get value later on where you want to hit on those really important positions, like a Gibbs, a Smith, but. Anything else? I mean, A-Chain at the 211 is surprising to me. I know he goes to the Colts, but I think that was a fun landing spot at minimum. So A-Chain goes to the Colts in the 3rd round. Kendre Miller wasn't drafted, but someone grabbed him here. There's a hype name that you and I are not necessarily buying into the hype. It's not that we're not buying in. We already like the player. We're just not going to move him higher because of the hype, and he hasn't gone yet. So that was interesting. I'm curious to see where he goes.
Yeah, to see where he goes. I mean... Yeah, there's a lot of people really liking this guy and then just taking him now in the second, end of the second. So
even mid-second, beginning second, we've seen people draft him now.
Yeah.
But he hasn't gone. Good job to the community for kind of keeping a cool head, not putting too much value into one event. Hey, guys, if we get 100 likes, we're going to do another mock draft right after this. So if you want to see another round of ADP, another group of people, do us a favor, drop a like. Only 18 likes away. With your help, if everyone is to drop a like, we can definitely get there. If you like the content, if you want to support the show, easy way to help us grow, to help the old algorithm on YouTube say, hey, people like watching these guys. Let's suggest them to more people. So do us a favor, drop a like. Easy way to support the show and to see another round of mock draft. So let's go ahead and get into the 3rd round here. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
I'm just trying to find like some... I see people talking about like the Pro Bowl. I'm like, I literally looked up recess game, like middle school recess games.
Yes.
Like, I'm trying to find something.
Dude, field days were goated, no doubt.
100%. It's just like you kind of have to find the right ones though. Like I see some here. It says the parachute popcorn. That's like super middle school, like not middle school, like kindergarten-y. What else can I find? Duck Duck Goose, they say. Marbles.
Yeah, I remember Red Rover, but that was dangerous. That was a dangerous game. I'm here in the 3rd round. Let me see what my rankings indicate. I should probably do. Okay, Kincaid is gone. Is Tank Bigsby still available?
Nah, he just went at the 3-2.
Oh, he just went before me. So Tank is off the board. Let me see who else is available here. I think everyone that I would draft is gone. Do I follow my rankings here? Because I feel like I can get this player in the 4th round.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's talking about him yet. I'm not going to follow my rankings. I'm going to see how far down he falls because I don't think this is going to be consensus with ADP. So I'm going to pass up on him and just see how far he might fall. The next player that I would technically draft would be Kenny McIntosh. So give me Kenny McIntosh here. I'll grab him at the 3-3. Where did Kenny go in this draft? I'll have to double check.
He went to the Saints in the 2nd or 3rd.
In the 3rd round, he went to the Saints. So that could be interesting. The Saints are already trying to misuse Alvin Kamara as much as physically possible. Now you have a suspension, and you have Kenny McIntosh in town. That could be really interesting.
Yeah, that could be. Kenny McIntosh out there should be fun in Georgia. From Georgia. Chase Brown, downtown. My guy, the 3-4, didn't get drafted. But if he gets the opportunity, I mean, weighs in at 215 at the Senior Bowl. Didn't have the best Senior Bowl.
Yeah, but issues which showed up as well in the analytics. That's tough. That's tough to see GMs not caring about that, you know.
Yeah, so let's see how he kind of picks up in the, you know, at the combine, if he can kind of show those drills a little bit better.
Marvin Mims off the board. I know you like Marvin Mims, so why don't you chat about him?
Yeah, I like Marvin. I mean, I haven't heard much about him, you know, leading up so far, but he's a guy that's still out there. I think he's kind of in the same boat as some of these other smaller guys, like the Zay Flowers, like the Josh Downs. Just didn't have the best opportunity, didn't have the best quarterback play. I think he could be a guy that'd be very surprising. So he's a sleeper for me that you can take him in the 3-5 if he does get good draft capital. But once again, these wide receivers are going to, some of these guys that we don't expect to have good opportunity might have to, just based off of the free agency market. So maybe a guy like Marvin Mims falls into a spot that can get opportunity. Let me see what I can do here.
You're on the clock, and again, we have not seen any of these hype names be drafted. If Kenny McIntosh wasn't on the board, I probably would have drafted one of those hype names. So I'm surprised he's still out there.
Okay, what should I do here? What should I do? I'm seeing this person. I actually don't know what to do. Oh man, this is so like, because I'm looking at my rankings.
Just follow your rankings. What do your rankings say?
My rankings said to go this person here, but he's still. Let me just see if he's there. Oh, hey, welcome home, baby. He didn't get drafted, but he's in the ADP. So shout out to Sam Laporta.
Wow. He's finally in the ADP. He's
finally in the ADP, boys.
By the way, he was drafted to the Jags in the 3rd round of this mock draft.
I thought that was Luke Musgrave.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, I don't like the landing spot personally.
Why? I mean, in that scenario,
in the scenario of them not re-signing, obviously Evan Ingram, which that is probably makes sense if they do that. But yes, I do like the thought process of if Evan Ingram is not there. Sure. But if he is there, obviously that's a problem. But it's still not the best landing spot in my eyes. I would hope he would go somewhere else. But if you guys don't know who Sam Laporta is, I mean, definitely go check him out. I like what he showed out of Iowa, 6'4", 200 and about 50 pounds. I can kind of see him being a threat, man. I really like it. And you know, Iowa coming in with the tight ends, so they call that tight end. You know, that's what you said. So
Iowa is definitely considered one of the tight end U's. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you have him as your tight end 3. I have him as my 6. I just like some of these other names like Musgrave and Kraft a little bit better, but he definitely is intriguing. I think there are 6 wide receivers or 6 tight ends that really do intrigue me this year.
Yeah.
As far as fantasy value goes, and he's one of them, no doubt.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited that he's in the ADP.
Yeah, it's good to finally see him in sleeper. We like to see that.
Yeah, but yeah, Luke Musgrave, Sam Laporta, both really close to my rankings, guys. So I think the person that's getting all the hype right now for sure is definitely Luke Musgrave, just based off of the Senior Bowl and everything that's kind of happening.
So there it is. Tajay Spears.
Yeah, 3-8
goes off the board. I think I probably would have looked at drafting Tajay personally if Kenny McIntosh wasn't available. So I feel like Tajay should start to get like early 3rd. I don't want to buy into the hype of like mid-2nd, but I feel like early 3rd is going to feel good for Tajay. Again, we don't like buying into the hype of like Senior Bowl and solely focusing on Senior Bowl events, but Tajay definitely, I mean, there's a lot of talk around his name, a lot of talk, and that was a player that I liked beforehand, but I can't get on board with all of the hype where people are like, he's like the 3rd best running back in the class. I can't get behind that kind of stuff.
I was killing it to that pick. I was killing it to the pick, man. Unlucky.
There goes Tanner McKee and Deuce Vaughn off the board at the 311. There's a name that I'm not really gonna highlight that I'm pretty surprised is still available.
Yeah, I think.
And let's just not talk about him in case I get to draft him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you might be able to get him, but that's what I was thinking.
The end of the 3rd round. Parker Washington, Tank Bigsby, Kenny McIntosh, Chase Brown, Marvin Mims, Rashawn Johnson, Sam Laporta, Tajay Spears, Luke Musgrave. Macy's just piling up on tight ends here. Tanner McKee, Deuce Vaughn, and Darnell Washington all go off the board. Let me ask you about Deuce Vaughn. Where do you sit with Deuce Vaughn? Are you still with me where it's kind of like I'm just not drafting him, I don't care where it is, or do you feel like he's worth a draft pick depending on the landing spot and draft capital?
Yeah, I think he's worth a landing spot depending on draft pick and draft capital. If he has the attributes of what we all want to see in a running back, and that's easy to say because he is that size, right? He is a smaller back. I think there's going to be a team that's going to find value in using him, and he has the NFL. He doesn't have the NFL experience, but if I'm not mistaken, his father was a former NFL player, so he knows the thought process. He kind of understands what this is going to be for him and what he needs to do to really shine. So if he does get the draft capital, if he does get the landing spot, I am not going to sleep on Deuce, but the chances, I am still with you, are very, very slim of him becoming fantasy relevant. It's going to be he's going to have to go against the grain for sure, but yeah, I would take the chance on him, especially at the 311.
You said you said something like I'm not going to sleep on him. I'm just fully asleep. I'm like in a coma. I'm just not touching him.
I got one eye. I got a half an eye open.
I'll sleep all the way through the night, and I'm not going to double think. I mean, he's 5'6", 176. You know, that's tough.
I know it's very tough.
What do you really become in the NFL? I don't know.
It is very tough. So.
Oh, thank you so much to Mighty Booch for becoming a YouTube member.
Hey,
really appreciate that. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate that. Okay, so guys, do us a massive favor. Drop a like. We did get the 100 like mark, so we will do another mock draft for you right after this one. But just be a friend. You know, help your friends out here. Drop a like. Easiest way to help grow the show, grow the channel. So let's go ahead and see what this 4th round looks like. But for the 4th round, we're going to give you 60 seconds, guys. 60 seconds. So let's no more of this 2-minute nonsense. 60 seconds. Make a decision. Have some conviction. Know your guys. That's what we're practicing right now.
Make it happen here, boys. Make it happen.
So let's see. Mighty Booch, and your icon will grow, and it will mature over the next couple months until you get the golden goat that Proofy has. Proofy's got that golden goat, so... There goes Eric Gray off the board. Mohamed Ibrahim. Okay, look, I'm not really a fan of drafting quarterbacks after these big 4. But at this point, I mean, we got a quarterback on the board who was drafted in the 2nd round to a team that clearly has no solidified starter. I'm looking at my Superflex rankings. He's my 308 without knowing draft capital. I know he's old. I know he's going to be 26. But in a Superflex format, how is Hendon Hooker still on the board in the 4th round when he was drafted in the 2nd round to the Commanders? I mean, I don't know. Do you guys really think that Sam Howell and his 5th round draft capital is going to keep Hendon Hooker on the bench when he's ready to go? I don't know.
I mean, after that freaking Dallas game, maybe he will keep him on the bench.
All I'm saying is in the 4th round, you guys are all going to take shots on guys that you kind of like. I'm taking shots on a guy that I kind of like, and he has good draft capital. I mean, there's not another player, I don't think, unless I'm mistaken, that went in the 2nd round that you're going to be able to draft here in the 4th round.
Oh, Jason, I like that one. That has to be a fantasy team name.
Nobody likes old hookers. Yeah, I like it too.
That has to be.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like you got to start taking a shot at him at the end of the 3rd. I don't expect him to even get 2nd round draft capital. So for him to do that in a position where clearly that team has had needs for so long, I don't know. Take a shot, man. Why not? I mean, what are we gonna do with the running backs this late that are going off the board? These guys might not even make a team. They might be on a practice squad. There goes Rakim Jarrett off the board. There's a hype name that again I'm surprised how our community is staying so calm and collected with these hype names that are coming out.
I'm drafting him. I guarantee I'm gonna draft.
Are you?
Yeah, there it is. Nathaniel Tank Dell. Everyone is on this kid. He is what, 6'9"? Look at Zach.
He's 6'9".
I mean, sorry, 5'9". Look at Zach, and that's exactly what.
I don't think he had that height. He came in at 5'8", 163.
5'8", sorry. So 5'8". I'm giving him so much. Look at Zach.
5'8", 163. You're right. It is like me.
Yeah. Look at Zach and say, okay, put Zach in some pads.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you're getting with.
But yes, I mean the hype is there with Nathaniel Dell and the Senior Bowl. Everything and everyone that's saying Nathaniel Dell is going to be a second-round draft pick. That maybe he can even sneak into the first. I've seen that people are sounding crazy that he's going to be a guy that is going to contribute so much to a team. Zach and I have been saying this for a while. Really, Zach has been saying it for a while, saying like these undersized guys are so hard to invest in, especially when you look at someone like a Tutu Atwell, who was he got second-round draft capital, third-round draft capital.
Yeah, Tutu Atwell was a second-round pick to the Rams.
Obviously, probably wasn't the best landing spot for him, but still, like, it's so much had to happen for him to even get onto the field. And I just don't see that with Nathaniel Dell. I think the situation has to be amazing, right? I mean, even then, like, what team can you genuinely, Zach? Like, is there any team out there that you can see him saying, you know what, I can see him having a role there? Is there one team that you can name?
No, I'm just kidding. Let me. Like a role that's so generic. Like, what do you mean a role?
What team? So, like, I have a list of teams that need a wide receiver in general, right? They just need somebody to come in and say, okay, I need a guy. So here are my teams that are my list that needs a team. Because obviously, if you watch that wide receiver video, I kind of brought that list. So these are 6 teams that need an alpha or at least a wide receiver too. The Patriots, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Bears, the Giants, the Ravens. If he goes to any of those teams, does he have a role?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have a role regardless because people are saying he's gonna go in the second round.
Though, if he's gonna be, we don't see that. So even if he does go to a team that does need a wide receiver, doesn't mean that he's gonna be fantasy relevant. That's what basically I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's the same way we approached Tutu Atwell. I remember Tutu Atwell got second round draft capital, and people were like, "Oh, this guy's electric. This guy's fun." Yeah, I mean, there's just only so many scenarios in which you can use that player, and it's difficult to find a scenario in which he gets a high target share or a high amount of volume. Now, he could be the outlier, and we could be absolutely wrong.
Yeah,
and we'll be wrong if we are, but not a player. Let me see where I have him ranked in my Superflex rankings right now.
I have him around here actually. I genuinely believe that he was my next guy up.
I need to actually update it because I update my wide receiver rankings. So I currently have him as my wide receiver in the class, wide receiver 15. He's my wide receiver 15. I have someone who wasn't drafted ahead of him, Jaden Reed. Because Jaden Reed's another wild card, but I actually like his frame a little bit more than Nathaniel Dell. So I have him as wide receiver 15, which means I would probably be drafting him around the 405, 403 mark. If I fix my rankings, that's kind of around where he would be. But yeah, at the end of the day, I still would have taken a chance on like a Tutu Atwell. When he was given second round pick. Now, ultimately, I was wrong, but I took that chance in the 4th round, not in the second round.
Yeah, for sure.
So, anyway, all right, guys, we are gonna do another mock draft for you. do not join if you already were in a mock draft today. Let's let the love kind of spread around to everyone in the community. That sounds weird. But Degenerate, Team Crook, Pack It Up, Jack Jackson, Little Jack, Vikings, Macy, Bot Wolf Guy, Man United fan, you will be publicly shamed if you join another one, because we want everyone to have a shot. But typically people have been really good about allowing others to join. So I think we will be fine. I drafted from the 3. So why don't I take the 12? I'll take the very back end, and I'll try the 12 for this next one. I'm going to send you the link, obviously, so you can join as well.
Yeah. And as you do that, I'll tell everyone how to join. Guys, if you want to join and be our second mock draft here, all you have to do is join our Discord. The link is in the description below. Join our Discord, go to Dynasty, and then go to Dynasty Mock Draft. Dynasty Mock Draft tab. Go there, and that's where I'll be posting the link. You can kind of see where I posted the links for this live stream and the past draft. It is first come, first serve. But like Zach said, please give somebody else an opportunity to come in if you were in our first mock draft earlier. And if not, it's okay, because we do so many mock drafts. So send that link out to me, and then I will send the link out to everyone. Okay, awesome.
Just make sure you join.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
And just while we're waiting, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody for the likes today, for the subs. It does mean a lot. We are actually currently 1 subscriber away from 4,900, which means we are 101 subscribers away from 5K. Almost at 5K, which is incredible. Thank you guys for your support. Appreciate you guys. I'm glad that there's so many people out there who love Dynasty community, who love Dynasty football, rather, just like we do. Do us a favor, if you have yet to follow us on Twitter, I'll drop my Twitter in there. I'm trying to be a positive presence in the community as much as we can be.
Darkness, you know.
Yeah. There's Badake's account as well. You can give us a follow there. We did release all of our rankings and profiles and Superflex rankings, Dynasty offseason rankings. We released those over on Patreon. Have really loved the feedback. So Close Friends Plus and above, you can see that when you sign up. Shout out to everyone who has already signed up. Link in the description if you want to check out our Patreon. I'll also paste it in the chat. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and send out that link for people to join us, and let's see how it goes.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and that is the link. I did join, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
All right, do we have to publicly shame anyone? We'll see.
Nah, I'm gonna be on. And if they are in, that means they just want to be publicly shamed, and they might be okay.
Honestly, I was hoping I could publicly shame at least one person. But shout out to everybody. I mean, hey, another round of applause to the community.
Wow. What an opportunity.
Well done. Good job, guys. Everyone's all new people for this one, so that is great to see. So why don't we go ahead and start this off. We're using the same landing spot, same rules, same everything. 60 seconds on the clock. So let's get it popping. Let's get it absolutely popping.
What's for lunch?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna have to make something.
I'm starving like.
Y'all know my wife broke her ankle, so I'm the one who's pretty much making all the food and laundry. And
Zach was like, "Oh yeah, I have to feed Karina." I was like, "Oh, you're gonna hand feed her?"
Yeah, I said we were working on our bookkeeping last week, which was disgusting and really sucked to do. But we were just working so long through the day. I said, "Oh, I gotta go feed Karina." But no, not physically feed her. She can feed herself, but just like get her food because she can't really move. Bijan's off the board, then CJ Stroud. So this is a direct replica. Okay, now it's changed. I was going to say it's a direct replica of the last mock. But there goes Will Levis at the 1-3. Proofy. Going crazy and trusting his gut there with Will Levis. Respect. I mean, respect. Would I do it? No. No, I wouldn't, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. All right, this is how the last one went. All right, so if you're at the 1-6 now, you feel like an absolute king because you either get Gibbs or Njigba, and they're just sitting right in your hand. So we got to feel pretty good about that. We'll see what Casey does here. Definitely would be interesting to see where he goes. Michael says no. Maybe he wanted to see Levis go later. Who knows? Dominic says got pick 112 this year since I won last year. Nice. ATJ says which side? 12 team Superflex. AJ Brown and Dak or Kenny Pickett 102, 104 and a random 24 first. I'm going the Kenny Pickett side personally.
102, 104 and a random 24 first. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the Kenny Pickett side.
Okay, there goes Gibbs off the board. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba goes at the 1-6. So, I mean, you just feel like an absolute king if Jackson Smith is sitting there at the 1-6. Incredible. Let's see what Big Chris is going to do here. Shout out to Big Chris.
You know, I won't be surprised if a draft like this happens. I mean, I doubt that Bryce Young is going to fall to the 1-4. But I won't be surprised if Will or Anthony Richardson is going to be in the top 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Just based off draft capital, landing spot, and what people believe in. You know, so I think this is kind of a realistic mock, right?
Yeah,
like obviously,
I agree.
Just swap Bryce and Will Levis around. That feels very realistic. And then kind of Anthony Richardson goes at the 1-7, which is like you can get a guy that might sit behind or potentially start in the second half of the season. And then you get the wide receiver 2 now with Jordan Addison that goes to the Giants. So I feel like this could happen. you know?
Of course it could happen. Anything could happen in these mock drafts for sure. By the way, guys, Richardson went to the Raiders at the 7th overall pick in the first round. Levis went to the Panthers at the 9th overall pick. Bryce went to the Texans, and CJ went to the Colts. Bijan went to the Lions. Gibbs went to the Chiefs. JSN went to the Ravens. Addison went to the Giants. Johnston went to the Jets. Charbonnet went to the Raiders in the second round. Boutte went to the Cardinals in the third round. And here I am on the board at the 112. Michael Mayer is there staring me in the face. Let me double check my rankings.
Double check it, man. You got to double check it.
So it's between Zach Evans, Sean Tucker, and Michael Mayer. In this scenario, for this exercise, we don't know that. We're assuming Sean Tucker wasn't drafted in the first 3 rounds. So
yes,
he's not an option for me personally here. So that would mean I would choose between Zach Evans and Michael Mayer. Those would be the 2 options I would be choosing from. I'm going to stick to my guns here, though. I'm going to go Zach Evans and maybe try and get a tight end later. But Michael Mayer to the Bengals, great landing spot. You like it. I'm going to stick with Zach Evans there, who lands with the Rams. I think he can win that job potentially.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, maybe he likes the landing spot. Maybe he doesn't believe that Sam Howell can win this job and Hendon Hooker is going to be a starter. Maybe he does beat him out, right? Pause. But I don't know.
It's interesting. It's interesting for sure. I mean, I'm sitting here last draft. I'm saying Hendon Hooker was a value, but that's because I got him in the middle of the 4th round.
Yeah.
This is too high. This is too high. Let's be honest. This is too much.
All right, I'm on the clock here. I know who I'm going to take. I would take somebody did not get drafted, so I am going to take Michael Mayer here. First round draft capital to the Bengals. And this is kind of what we were alluding to in the last mock draft, saying, you know what, why take him at the 1-5 when you can potentially get him at the 2-2 here, 2-3 even potentially. And first round draft capital tight end who's going to land with a high caliber quarterback that's probably going to be on a team that he's going to have a role whether T leaves or not. I mean, we saw Hayden Hurst have a role with all of those guys on the team, right? So I like Michael Mayer here at the 2-2. Yeah,
I like Michael Mayer there too. It feels like really good value. My ceiling for him is Mark Andrews. Floor is like a Pat Fryermuth type player, so you're getting a very good player here in a very good situation. So regardless, you're getting a very, very good player there. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Zay Flowers goes off the board at the 2-3.
Zaza. Where's he going?
So he went in the first round to the Jaguars. Love the capital. Love the player. Don't understand why the Jags would take him. But, I mean, he's a first-round wide receiver. Hard to not draft him at the 2-3 there. So I can see why he would.
Yeah.
So Sean Tucker off the board as well. We don't know where he lands. We assume he's a 4th-round pick in this scenario.
How many days until the draft? When's the draft again?
The draft is end of April.
How many days until April 27th, I think? 79 days until April 27th.
79. Can I hear 70? Can I hear 80? Can I hear 80?
Here we go.
90. Can I hear 100? 120. Sorry. There goes Jalen Hyde off the board at the 2-5. He went to the Texans in the 2nd round. Which, here he is with the Texans. And we see Josh Downs in the 3rd round to the Packers, which again we noted little bit concerning because we saw Amari Rodgers, if I'm not mistaken, go to the Packers in the 4th round, but we liked obviously Josh Downs much better than we had liked Amari Rodgers. And Big Chris is on the clock. Let's see what Big Chris is thinking.
Come on, Chris. Tell me something.
AT just says that's high praise for Mr. Mayor. I think you got to keep in mind, though, that I'm not sitting here saying Michael Mayer will be as good as those players in year 1. I'm saying that is what he can become, what he will develop into.
I think he was talking about, somebody said ceiling is Gronk. He was like, Badake won the draft. Ceiling is Gronk, floor is Kelsey.
Well, that just doesn't make sense, but I love it. I mean, fair enough. Hey, to each his own. Each own. Proofy says, I was not ready for this. Barely keeping up with the spots. Taking Mayer hurt me.
Stuff.
Hey, Zay is not a bad pick at all. It's just the spot is confusing. You're good, ATJ.
Responding to the chat. Yeah, my comps, I put my comp for Michael Mayer. I put Kelsey with Mahomes, Kelsey without Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean,
that's high praise though. That's super high praise.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
There goes A-Chain and Tank Bigsby off the board, and now Kilo's up. I got to figure out what the hell I'm doing at the 212 now. Ridley will play a year. He'll learn, and Ridley goes away. I don't think Ridley's going away, but he could. Anything's possible.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to extend him. I mean, a lot has to happen for Ridley to kind of get extended, I think. I mean,
I disagree with the landscape of wide receivers. Go look at free agent wide. We talked about this today. I mean, look at the free agent wide receiver room in 2023. I think it gets extended if he's even 80% of the player that he was.
Let's just say he has a year like kind of like Jerry Jeudy this year. Next year. I don't think he's going to come guns blazing. I don't think he's going to come in like being a top 15. I think he'd definitely be a top 25-ish.
Let me ask you this. Is Jerry Jeudy better than Christian Kirk?
Yes.
So Christian Kirk got paid how much in free agency?
Oh, well, no, that I understand. I'm just talking about like I think the way that he gets the paycheck is about how he responds in his first year. That's that would be my argument.
Damn it. That was going to be my calling card was Xavier, and now Xavier's gone. Rashee Rice is gone. Where did Parker Washington go?
I don't think he was drafted, but he did not. I don't think he was drafted either. Whether in the mock draft and in this mock draft.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and grab Parker Washington here. I like Parker Washington. Maybe not as much as you, Badake, but I do like him. He's a very interesting prospect. Thank you for the sub, James. But he's a very interesting prospect. The size is so intriguing, so interesting. Is he 5'10", 215? He's like the size of a running back. I like the route running. I think he'd be an interesting slot in the NFL. So I'll grab him here at the 212.
That's good.
You guys prefer Mayo over Kincaid? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. I think Kincaid could end up being a better value in rookie drafts, but we do like Michael Mayer as a more complete tight end. But we're huge fans of Kincaid. I love Kincaid. I think he's a better route runner. I think they have equally as good of hands as each other. But Kincaid is not a very good blocker compared to Michael Mayer. So you have to ask, when will Kincaid get on the field? Will someone view him as a receiving threat from day one and use him in that fashion? That would be ideal, but he's not an ideal inline blocker, which again, you have to be on the field to get opportunities. That's why we see a lot of these tight ends. It takes them a couple of years to get on the field. I think Mayer is more out of the box, ready to go, but I could see a scenario in which Kincaid develops into being a better fantasy asset than Michael Mayer. I'm not saying it will happen because I think it's more likely that Mayer is the better fantasy asset, but there is a scenario in which that happens in my mind.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Okay, McIntosh, Richard Tillman, Kendre Miller.
Yeah. What's the latest on Kendre's projected draft capital? Has it changed? I know there's so many Kendre stands out there.
Let me look it up here. I'm not necessarily sure. I don't think it's changed.
Kendre currently, he's currently late 4th. So, he was 5th, late 4th, but they still have guys like Rashawn Johnson ahead of him, Dwayne McBride. Hey, thank you so much for the sub, Jack.
Appreciate you, Jack.
I'm not sure how much I trust this consensus big board, to be honest.
Yeah, what can you do there?
At the end of the day, we have no idea what will actually happen. There goes Dwayne McBride off the board. Tucker Kraft, I know Dynasty Day Trader's happy he got his guy in the 3rd round. I do like Tucker Kraft. He goes off the board, then Dwayne McBride goes. Israel Abanikanda, who I was hoping might fall to me, my sleeper running back of the year.
Bonikanda.
Abanikanda. Tajay Spears went at the 3.5. So 3.5. The last time he went at the 3.8. So that's intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll end up, I'm not saying where we would draft him, but I think he will probably be around mid-second to late second in a lot of other communities' mock drafts. I like that our community is staying cool, not overreacting. There goes Tank Dell off the board. This feels more realistic. I wouldn't take him here, but it feels more realistic as far as where he probably will go as of right now in mock drafts. So I'm sitting here.
What are you thinking,
and last time I was going to draft him, but I completely missed his name. I know Marvin Mims is on the board, but I have a wide receiver that I actually like more than Marvin Mims still on the board. Is he not in the database? Do they not have Puka in there?
No, he's there.
Oh, okay. I might have spelled his name wrong. So I'm going to grab Puka Nakua. It might be Puka Nuka. We don't really know how exactly you say his name, but I'm going to grab Puka here. Really, really intriguing prospect. I love the size. The film reminds me a little bit of Alec Pierce, but I think Puka's actually better after the catch than Alec Pierce was coming out. So I see a little bit of Alec Pierce there. Competitive, great ball skills. Football's in his blood. I'll take him here at the 312. I'm a big fan of Puka's game, so we'll see if the NFL likes Puka the way that we do.
Yeah, I like it.
Yayo says, "Hey guys, hi from Mexico. Thoughts on Dwayne McBride?"
Yeah, yo.
What's up, man? Dwayne McBride. I like the frame, but I think the analytics are difficult to trust because of the competition that he faced. Currently, my running back 15 in the class, but as we know, running backs draft capital is very important, so anything can change there. But definitely like the running style. But this is a running back, guys. If I'm not going to say it. I believe that Dwayne McBride only had 4 targets on the entire year. Is that correct? I remember.
Yes, it was that. It was Dwayne. He had 4 targets on the year. He barely got nothing in the air. It was horrendous. It
is almost impossible to project him as a receiver in the NFL because, again, he had 4 targets on the year. I wrote this as a little blurb in our Patreon package. He was targeted on just 1.2% of the team's passing attempts on the season. It's what do you do?
Tough.
You need this guy to be basically Brian Robinson for a team, but take away Brian Robinson, like the small opportunities he gets in the air. So it's difficult to say his ceiling is very high in the NFL, considering the competition, the lack of opportunities he got through the air. It's tough. It is tough.
It is tough. And I would say, even though there wasn't much film on him being able to, get the targets, or they give him the opportunity as a target guy, I think just like everyone says, he is a guy that knows how. He has the ability to be how can I say this? I don't want to say he has the ability to be a pass catching back, because based off the numbers, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he can't develop into somebody that could be that, right? And it may not be in the rookie year. It may not even be in his sophomore year.
What if I told you this? Mm-hmm. He spent 3 years at UAB. How many receptions do you think he had in 3 years?
I mean, I would hopefully think he's probably got 25 receptions a year potentially.
Okay, in 3 years, Dwayne McBride has 5 receptions.
Okay. Is that like I mean, I don't know the history of UAB. Are they like we passed? Yeah, of course. Because Tank's at not UAB.
UAB, again, I said he contributed 1.2% of the receiving work for them in the air. And yeah, they were definitely more run focused because he had 233 attempts this year. But they still threw the ball 321 times. So
could be the offensive play. I mean, I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to think of NFL GMs that says he didn't get any work in the air because their offense is not a passing offense that passes to the back, right? So, but I get what you're saying in that standpoint. It's just like it's hard.
When you talk about players having to break a mold, that's one hell of a mold to break. 5 receptions in 3 years. Of course, one of those years he wasn't really used the same way, but I like McBride purely as a runner. I enjoyed watching him, but again, it's difficult to evaluate his film with the competition he faced versus some of these other players because the volume was there, competition wasn't very good, but he did what he could with what he had. So
yeah.
All right, Stetson Bennett went at the 4-1. There goes Marvin Mims, Deuce Vaughn, Rakim Jarrett, Tanner McKee. I like taking a shot on Tanner McKee in the 4th, personally. Rashawn Johnson, Eric Gray, Dontavion Wicks, Mo Ibrahim, Trey Palmer. And I get to draft Mr. Irrelevant. And who do I want to just put some respect on? I mean, let me just think of a player. I just want you guys to know the name, maybe. Maybe we'll do it that way.
Oh, that's
maybe not exactly who I would draft, but let me see who I just want you guys to know the name.
I have one name that I think you might see and let's see if it is. I have him on my queue right now.
What position?
He is a wide receiver.
Yes. And I was thinking Jaden Reed.
Oh, okay.
I just want to put his name on the map.
Okay. Wasn't him though.
He had really good production the year before this last year, but so you don't like that he took a little bit of a dip in production, but he's an interesting player. At best, like complete ceiling, I think Jaden Reed is one of these wide receiver 2s on a team. The floor is much lower. Just a rotational guy who kind of gets in there every once in a while. He's a poor man's Jahan Dotson for me. A more realistic comp, I would say, is a Devin Duvernay type player. So it definitely intrigues me at minimum. So I just want to put him on the map, at least so people know the name. He also did well at the Senior Bowl. Good kick returner, good punt returner, but unlikely to have a high target share in the NFL. But who was the name that you were going to mention?
I thought you were going to mention Charlie Jones.
I like Charlie Jones. Yeah.
Or Charlie Jones.
I'm a bigger fan personally of Jaden Reed than Charlie Jones, though.
Yes, that I understand. There was another guy.
Michael Wilson?
Yes, Michael Wilson. I would say the guy that played with Tanner McGee. Yes.
Wasn't able to stay healthy much, but a lot of people like him. Yeah.
A lot of people do like him. So I just thought you were going to go like somebody that you never drafted before. But yes, Jalen Reed is a guy, very intriguing, like you said, but also Wilson and Jones.
Yeah, a couple other names I could throw out: Jalen Moreno Cropper, Andre, I believe it's Yoshivas, out of Princeton. He's kind of like your off-brand Christian Watson, so I don't expect him to get that kind of capital Watson did. Dontavion Wicks was drafted, but yeah, a couple names there to throw out that are at minimum intriguing.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for the sub, William, too. But that is going to be it for today, guys. Really appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Let's see what differed from one mock draft to the next. Will Levis went a little bit earlier. Michael Mayer went later.
Wow, Trey just went down in Delta, and you're going to be surprised what happened there.
Oh, really? Let's have a look. So in our follower leagues... Oh. Okay.
Okay. Let me see Casey.
I'm pretty sure Casey's probably watching the stream right now.
Yeah,
so,
Casey, what are your picks here? Well, he has the 101.
We just saw a trade go down in our Delta League, where essentially Daniel Jones was traded straight up for Chris Olave. Now, we like Daniel Jones. I think I'm leaning the Olave side still, though.
I'm definitely leaning the Olave side as well. Mind you, if I'm not mistaken, the Don has Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, and he has Kyler Murray, so he just got Daniel Jones for Chris Olave.
This is the Don. Yeah, his team is pretty nasty. Dak, he definitely needs to upgrade his running backs. Terry, A.J. Brown. Now he's got Chris Olave in that mix. Kittle, Lamar Jackson. That's a good team.
Yeah, it is a good
team. Jahan Dotson on the bench as well. Kyler Murray on the IR. He's got the 110 in this year's draft.
Casey said, "I'm here, boys. Hell yeah." Hey, congratulations, Casey, for acquiring DJ. But, yeah. I mean, is that something we would do? Probably not.
Doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, but...
it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Right or wrong. I think Daniel Jones, we kind of speak about him in this free agent video that we have coming up. But, hey, that's big. That's big.
That is big.
Q&A really fast. Whoever has any last minute questions.
Let's do this. Let's take 3 questions. Unless there's any super chats, we're going to take 3 questions, and then we're going to end the stream because we got some editing to do. And also, it's almost 1. Well, it's 12:30 p.m. here, and I haven't eaten. Same. So let's do 3 questions. 3 questions only, and we'll kind of try and decide as we've seen them. So let's do 3 questions, and then we'll, unless there's any super chats.
Yeah. Where are we at?
Let's see. Jasmine says, I heard Xavier Hutchinson didn't do anything during the Senior Bowl to stand out. That doesn't worry me because I don't put really any value into the Senior Bowl either way. We've talked about this before, and actually I tweeted out something that got some good reaction, got some interesting reaction, but the Senior Bowl is fun. You can definitely find gyms, but I would much rather look at the entire body of work for a player rather than one event. I think drastic ranking changes are just the wrong process. So no, There's so many things that go into that, but this was the thing that I tweeted out. Again, got some interesting responses, but remember last year we had Abram Smith, Velus Jones, Jalen Tolbert, Calvin Austin, Carson Strong, Christian Watson. Now, Christian Watson definitely hit. The rest of those guys probably got unwarranted hype. And we probably, which me and Badake did, probably should have looked at the body of work more than just what the Senior Bowl showed us. So, no, overall, I would say no, I'm not worried. What I will be worried about is if he doesn't get, at minimum, third-round draft capital, which is what we want.
Yeah, and I think we need to understand one thing that, I actually learned from the NFL Network and what they were talking about when I was watching it. There were so many eyes on the quarterbacks. And when the quarterbacks that were getting drafted, their potential and their work ethic, I don't want to say their work ethic, I would say their ability to spread the ball and make someone look a little bit more appealing to others was significantly higher than the quarterback group that was at the Senior Bowl. Because last year we had Sam Howell, Matt Corral, we had all these guys that were there that kind of help excel all these other guys around them. So it doesn't mean, I just think that we need to take everything that we saw in the Senior Bowl with a grain of salt until we see the draft capital for some of these players.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Thoughts on Tyler Scott? I'm going to be honest with you. We have not dived into his film enough to give a good insight. He's one of those players who are on our monitor to watch, but unless he gets incredible draft capital, we're probably not going to dive into him too deep. Mm-hmm. Okay, good question, Alpha. Okay, the question is, what pick do you start trading 23 first for a random 24 pick? So I really love the 24 class. I actually brought the 24 class as like, go buy these picks. Last year, I would say around June or July, I was saying you need to go pile up on the 24 class because it's being massively disrespected right now.
Yeah.
For me, probably after like the 108, if I have a 109 onwards, I'm probably pretty comfortable to move that for a 24 first and just take a shot on what, if that team doesn't perform that I'm trading with, or if they're kind of middle of the pack team. I think from that point is where I'm happy to send a 23 first for the 24 class. As far as the early seconds though, if I have like a 201 to a 204, I'm probably keeping that because I think it's a deep second round. The early second round is very good in the 23 class. So I would say right around the 109 to the 112, I'd be happy to send that away for a 24 first, any 24 first, and kind of take my shot in next year's class.
Yeah, I would agree. The later guys in this year's draft is a massive tear down. All right, with the thought process of 2024's class. So maybe that 24 first could be a top 5 or a top 6. I think the value would be significantly higher than the 108, 109 and later here in these drafts.
Yeah, let's do one last question here. If Anthony Richardson does go in the first round, how valuable is he? I mean, right now my rankings are based off him going in the first round. So my rankings are assuming he's already in the first round, which for me that would put him at the 106. So first round, 6th overall pick, a lot of risk, but a ton of upside if you hit on a player like that.
Yeah.
So right here around the 106 is where I would value him personally.
Yeah, I think the other side of that would be the draft, the landing spot, excuse me. So if he does get a first round draft capital, but doesn't get the ideal landing spot, then I don't know. I think it all depends. I mean, what if he goes to the Lions, he sits behind, what if he goes, so I think if he goes to a team that Anthony Richardson, when he goes to the Washington Commanders, it feels like it's kind of locked that he's going to be number 1, right? It kind of feels that way. But if he goes somewhere like the Titans, hypothetically, I mean, does he beat out Ryan Tannehill? Does he beat out, Kirk Cousins? If he goes to the Vikings, maybe he sits a year. I think it just all depends. But even then, I think you can take the chance at the 106 or later.
Hey, TJ, I'll answer this because it's a good question. This will be the last one that we answer today. If Levis goes number 1 overall, would your thoughts or rankings on him change? I said this when I made my quarterback video because right now Will Levis is my quarterback 4. What I said is we do have to trust NFL scouts more than ourselves. But I think the context is behind this, like, where did the other guys go? Did all 3 of those other guys still go top 10? Because if that's the case, I'm still going to have Levis as my 4. The only way I'm going to drastically change is if let's say, for example, CJ, Bryce, and Levis all go top 10 and Anthony Richardson doesn't go until like late second. You have to then move Levis ahead of Anthony Richardson at minimum, right? So I think the context there is important for me, but I'm potentially just going to be one of those stubborn people where, like, hey, I might miss out on Levis. I might have to give him more respect. I might have to move him up my rankings, but he might also just be a player that I miss out on, and I'm going to have to take the heat out for that if I do miss on him. But so it's an interesting question, but I think that I would be able to answer it better if I knew what happened to the other guys.
Yeah, I mean,
but you definitely have to move him to like top 6 pick at that point if he goes first overall.
I think if he goes first overall, but I do agree it's the context. I think there's going to be a landing spot personally, and maybe I'll be wrong for this, but I think there's landing spots that I personally like just based off of where that team's at. If he goes to Atlanta, if he goes to Carolina, if he goes to the Colts, if he goes even to the Texans, right? Even if he goes to the Jets, hypothetically, I would rather have Will Levis than... I like the idea of having Will Levis in that area compared to somewhere like the Raiders. So it's all about context, like Zach said. So I would agree there.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see where these guys go. But there will be so many conversations that we get to have over the next couple months, and we'll find out where they land. But guys, thanks so much for the love today. Currently 93 subs away from 5,000, which is incredible. So exciting.
Huge love, man. That's awesome.
Do us a favor. Drop a like if you have yet to do so. Appreciate the love on the stream today. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a Dynasty Startup mock draft. All love, guys. See you soon.
Love.